Cheers.
Cheers. Agreed. Cheers. All right, let's kick this bad boy off. What's up, guys? John Sintes, Alex Rojas, Nama Strength, John Sintes, Cutter Nation Baseball. We come together to form the Let's Win a Ball Game podcast. Please like and subscribe.
Gotta show this off. Sorry.
It's okay. Please like and subscribe. This is available on Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, YouTube. You can support us if you'd like to train with us remotely. We both have remote training programs. I have an online store where you can grab some dope gear like this or the weird shirt that I'm wearing underneath it. We have plenty of affiliate companies that we're working for as well that will all available on our website. So, Alex, appreciate it. You go ahead.
Nothing online as of right now. We're still just kind of working on what we're doing in the shop. A lot of good stuff that's happening in the shop right now. Classes are rolling right now. If you guys are playing summer ball, we are going to start getting live at bats. I need to get more pitchers, honestly. So if you are a pitcher in the area that's looking to throw the hitters that want to hit, because there's a lot, come to TPC. Plenty of guys that want to hit off of you. And if you can't find innings maybe on your summer ball team, come throw some live at bats. We talk about it all the time. It takes too long to get through like 20 hitters for a pitcher. It takes you like 3 hours. You got to pitch a whole game. But realistically, that should be something you're doing all the time because that's how you play the game. So we need more pitchers. We got some, but a lot are actually going to be traveling and playing summer ball. So we need some guys that are maybe not doing the traveling so much, or they're younger guys that are looking to pitch and they don't care if they're pitching older guys. That works too. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. We're trying to build some live at bats. I just need pitchers. We have a substantial difference between the number of hitters and pitchers. Just like the general numbers. It's like a lot of the guys that are playing high level travel ball, the odds of them being local on the weekend are just not going to happen. Right? So you're looking at a midweek thing for a lot of you guys, probably like in the morning, right? Like a morning time session, maybe like a 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Whoever that guy is, but yeah. Dude, you don't need more time. Just come in. We'll have guys that are your level. Like, because trust me, we have plenty of hitters.
I like how
we need more.
Yeah, it's my favorite part where people are like, oh yeah, I just need to throw a bullpen. Like, it's so boring. It's so boring. Don't do that. Like, jump into the deep end. Cannonball. It's not. There's no chalk. There's no umpires. It's not real. It's just sparring. So like what do you
trying to help
prepare?
You guys.
Yeah, what are you preparing for?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Like,
what are you doing?
Like, imagine in a perfect world, both John and I are there. Like, I would sit behind home plate and I would just talk to, I would just talk to the hitter. Like, hey, what pitch did you just see in the last at-bat first pitch? Right? Versus, like, maybe if it were to be John back there, it's like, dude, what's he, like, trying to do with the baseball? Like, what is he trying to do? Oh, he's trying to hit the ball in the gap. All right. Which gap? You know, which gap specific? Oh, he's a pull side gap. Okay. So how do we avoid that? How do you avoid balls that go that way with that swing? That was another thing that you talked about in the last podcast. There are so many different, like, types of ways that guys express the baseball swing, right? But guys do, like, just do different things so often. Like, there are guys that just, like, what was his name? Todd Frazier? Dude, every time I feel like he got a base hit, he hooked it. Like, he always looked like he was hooking around the ball. So there's just guys that often do the same thing. And that's what you're trying to work on live at bats. Trying to figure out why you do the same shit over and over again. It's really annoying when I see guys just can't stop doing the same shit over and over again. And I get it, but a lot of it comes from live at bats and, like, live situations to help you understand how to stop practicing that way.
Agreed. That's I'll piggyback on that. Friday morning, first day live ABs here. I think we already have 5 or 6 pitchers up. So hitters, if you want to come test your skill, if you want to find out how good you are, we'll be here, and I'm throwing. So first outing of the summer. Excited. Even in May, it's a very, I know there's going to be a lot of guys. A lot of high school seasons are just ending, so I know some people are going to be available. But I can't wait to get this idea outside as well. I'm really jacked for the setup of what we're going to do. We're going to have so many different things that are working. We will actually have 10 a.m. live ABs here down in San Diego. Alex and I are in 2 different locations for guys in the comments. But yeah, we'll live stream it. It's going to go really well. You can watch it. We have a really, really good time. It's fun. We mute it just for the sake of everybody's safety. You don't want anybody seeing something or hearing something that's, not what we need. You know what I mean? So yeah.
There is
Awesome.
dugout talk, everybody. We're not going to deny dugout talk. We're not going to change our dugout talk for you, so we're just going to silence it.
Yeah. That way, because everybody's got to be natural. Plus, we vlog it anyway, so if anything fun happens, everybody gets it,
Like, I couldn't imagine how different things would be. Like, Eric Sim doesn't care. I love how many kids know Eric Sim, but I actually can't say the words Eric Sim. I have to say the King of Juco. Because sometimes they say Eric Sim, they're like, kind of give me this, like, I know the name, but, like, I can't. The King of Juco, they're like, oh, yeah, that guy. They always start smiling. They're like, yeah, that guy's cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
Got it.
I'm like, you know what that guy sounds like to all the parents and stuff out there? He's not PG-13. He's got the lip on him.
Yeah.
Right? But that's
it's
that's a part
2023.
Yeah, it's a part of where we're at. Also, I believe you told me that you acquired a device that throws balls at a very interesting and high rate of speed.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
How's that?
Honestly, the Spinball. So let me just take it through the experience of last night. Last night, Advanced BP, we featured the Spinball. The Spinball pitching machine is one of the greatest, newest machines that's out there. It's made by, it's the iPitch. So Spinball is the company, the iPitch. It works on an Android tablet. I get to type in the spin rate. I get to type in the speed, and then I get to aim it with its own little like up, down, left, right system. And so last night in Advanced BP, I actually didn't even throw. So at distance, so stay with me, release point 55 feet, Major League average, okay? 55 feet release point. Leg extensions on the iPitch, making the release point coming from 6'5". Okay, I'll send you a photo. Shooting at a down angle. We had 2 12-year-olds, big Little League night last night, so attendance was a little low. So we only had 3 guys, but it was perfect. We had Brian Reyes, our pro guy. We had 2 12-year-olds, okay? And they played 4 baseball games against each other on the hit tracks. And the little guys started at 75, okay? The little guys started at 75 at 60 feet, and were blown away at how easy it was. And then the little guys got up to 95 the last round. And they were sitting the first game they won maybe like 3-2 or something like that. Now Brian stayed on 95 the whole time. Okay, which was, his advantage. What's the
mist diameter? Like, if this is where the ball's supposed to be?
Oh, it stays in the zone.
No shit. Like, how bad's a miss, though?
That's
like
no. So plate 17, right? We're firing it down the middle. It'll stay maybe within like a 12-inch area. So that's you can cheat. Dope. Yeah, at 95 too.
Wow.
And so you can normally what I don't know if you guys know, normally when you go to when you go high speed, a lot of the pitching machines spin the ball too much, so you get really giant shapes and nasty sinkers and cutters. Because you can control the spin rate, you can actually control where it's going more.
Wow.
And so like the little guys, I was making it realistic. So at 85 miles an hour, the ball was going like 1900. For Brian at 95 miles an hour is more like 2300, which is average. Thank you so much. Which is Major League average here. You can have this back. Sorry, I like to take notes. You know what I mean? My guy over here, Zach, working hard. How's the thing going? My rehab guy. Oh, and look at that beautiful. I mean, just this little adorable. My daughter is so photogenic. It's unreal. It's unreal. My poor employees here that have to check my iCloud that has just like photos of my family on it too. But I just haven't made it. I need to make another one. Probably need to do that. Anyway, um, yeah, dude. So it was just really fun to watch 12-year-olds face 90 at 2100, and then figure it out, be on time, barrel it up, feel the force difference. How about that? How about 75 swinging through it,
Yeah.
90 barrel stopping a little bit, and then they're feeling it. And then they're also seeing a loss of like 50 feet, like swung through it, got to the end fast, 210, 215, stopped 135. Whoa!
It's pretty incredible to get a kid like the force that 95 as a ball has. Right. The over just to like did you see that video that Driveline was posting where like the maximum exit velocity required to be in the big leagues? So the maximum exit velocity, meaning the hardest hit ball, but it's the slowest one, was 103. That was the slowest one all year last year. That's a fucking piss missile. 103 is a shot, right?
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that that's where that guy maxes out. You know what I mean? But that's where he caught the ball, right? Major league average, I think, is like 83, right? But that means that like that's the average ball in play, right? But you got to hit the ball hard. Now, I don't care how hard you can hit the ball. When 95 hits your 103 mile an hour capable barrel, if you ain't never done it before, that barrel starts to get pushed back, and just that overcoming force. At 12 years old doing that, man, that's awesome. It really is.
It really was fun, and then they even had the nuts.
Kind of back.
Once they
USA or USSSA, drop threes?
I couldn't tell you. I mean, it looked like they were swinging drop fives, maybe,
So probably like USSSA.
Probably.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's good.
They even broke out the last round. I just remember this too. They broke out the bomb bats, so they were swinging 32s.
That's cool.
Against 95 too, and they were like, "Dude, this is kind of cool." I'm like, "I know." I mean, honestly, I would go in there right now and do the same thing. I would just fire it up and set 95 down the middle and just go figure it out.
See that?
Especially if you see it come all the way in like that, it's just so important.
Even as like a catching tool, like you could make some unbelievable pitches that you got to have guys like work their glove and their hand strength, their elbow strength. There's a guy that I follow on Instagram. I think it's like GCar20 or something like that. But he's a catching coach for the Blue Jays. And I saw this drill that he did recently where it's like the kids kind of face you at an angle like this. Like I'd be facing you, right? And you feed me the ball. And so the kid kind of catches the ball here. But then you put a plate in front of him this way. So you teach the kid how to go poof, poof, poof. Then you have just like moving your glove through. Then you handcuff them on purpose. So you make them catch like this, poof, and they got to work through this way. Dude, that was having my kids do against like some nasty stuff on the machine. Just their sticking ability of just like, I'm not moving that shit. Mm-hmm. Just like, dude, that's some grown man catching from a young kid. But then I made him do it off the pitch machine as well. Like now I'm going to handcuff you at 60. And you're going to be like this, right? And you're going to have to, bah! You get some 10, 11-year-olds that like, they buck up, you know? They start to be like, I can do this. But with an eye spin or whatever you call eye pitch, right? Dude, you can get like Edwin Diaz sliders to like an 11-year-old just because you can.
Sure.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. We definitely want to break out the Spinball and stuff for catching as well. Yeah. And we have had some junior hack attacks too, but like just thinking about the shapes and spin rate, like you can show it, you know.
Recently, because we have a home plate machine, right? So the beauty about a home plate machine is that you can sequence it, right, and then let it go. So I made a 4-pitch sequence that I think I said about on our last podcast. Our catchers have caught it, our youth catchers, and then our older guys have to hit it, right? It just doesn't have the velo because we're at 50 feet, but it's fastball, slider, sinker, slider, curveball. And watching the little guys catch these shapes, and like their eyes and their bodies have to move and do different things, they start changing how they catch because they're like, dude, this is nasty. The guys to change, like they'll even start laughing, like they'll miss on a splitter, and they'll just start laughing. They'll be like, oh my god, that was so gross. I'm like, I know, you whiffed pretty bad. Like you tried to come through, and the ball was like way over there. But it just creates the reality of like, there's no 12-year-old that's going to throw a splitter that gross that you're going to see, but it's at 50, so it's, you know, it's safe for this kid who's not necessarily an elite kid, right? But he's just trying to get used to like catching at a higher level, just sequencing these shapes. They don't have to be the nastiest stuff ever, but they gotta move, right? It can be pretty gross in a low velo, right? That's like what's that the blitz ball. I always forget about that. Like you can make that thing do some nasty shapes in a very short distance.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I'm actually writing that down. You just gave me a good idea that I didn't write for this video.
Have you ever used those smash factor balls that Driveline talks about?
No.
It's very interesting. So they're supposed to be like jugs balls, essentially. Like they're those light, foamy, plastic type jugs balls that you can get accurately up to high levels, like 93, 94, 95. But they're so light that they take away the impact of the contact. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So like the blowback that we were just talking about, you can minimize that. I don't know if that's the best route to go.
Yeah. Just
because I feel like that already happens so much when you hit a baseball in front toss.
Right.
Like
I think it would be a phase for sure.
Yeah, it could be a phase. But then I can make the argument that that's the same thing as like the tiny baseballs. That I've been actually getting some fun results with. Those tiny baseballs, kids start hitting the ball like, dude, I had a kid who had no business hitting the ball 90, but it was a tiny baseball. Like he tops out at 78, and then he cranks one at like 91 or something like that the other day. And I was just kind of staring. I was like, there's no way you just hit 91. I was like, even with a tiny baseball, how'd you do that? Like you had to square that up perfectly on the barrel. Then you had to extend perfectly. You had to catch it perfect on timing. So it's like the idea of hitting a baseball 90 miles an hour, right? And maybe it's like a meta concept. It's like maybe I just need to get their body to know how to do that faster, and then it just works. It's like throwing a 3-ounce baseball, maybe. But like that doesn't always mean you can hit a 5-ounce baseball that hard, but who knows? They're tiny, could compensate. Never know.
No, I mean, I agree. I mean, I love watching your videos and all those guys doing all that and figuring it out. And it all makes sense. You know, I mean, even the max BP machine, you know, if you were to progress from size, right? Max BP to lefty swag to baseball, you know, like that, I think that would be a good progression. The smash factor balls, I mean, I agree. I think you need to feel the force.
I think you do.
I think that would it would be like a different feeling. So you would, I mean, progressively maybe figure them out. And then once you figure out, then go back to baseballs. So maybe not the whole time. But yeah, I mean, I could kind of see it. But like if the eye pitch is just putting it within like 12 inches, dude. Like you got to be that good anyway.
Yeah, that's nasty. 12 inches is tight.
You know what I mean? Like, and really, if it's just a strike, you should be able to handle it.
Yeah. Plus I feel like the concept of a moving ball, we lost that. Like so many parents, I have to tell them like, stop taking him to the park and just doing tee work. Like let him hit the ball and see how far he can hit it.
Right.
Like just make him hit or her. I don't work with a lot of softball girls, but if I were, I'd be like, hey, stop making her hit stuff that's not moving. Just because she's not good at it doesn't mean that you should make it stop moving. Like you have to make that concept easier because that's never going to go away. It's never going to go away. It's literally the concept of the game. So that should be your first order of business to anybody who's watching it out there. That's not even a secret. That's just like the truth. Like that's just like the straight up truth. Like stop with this. Like T-ball, here's a conspiracy theory. T-ball was invented because probably 36 to 50 kids in a local county just sucked, and they couldn't figure it out. And so they're like, why don't we have a level where we put a ball on a tee? Because I'm pretty sure the history of the tee, like, I don't think the tee existed until like the 50s or the 60s. Like, I'm pretty sure of that. So it again, it was just like somebody struggled, and then they're like, we should make this a part of the game. But I don't know if that's the best thing we've ever done in terms of the game. There's good things with it. I use the tee for a lot of stuff, but I think in terms of a starting step, I don't know. I'd rather just maybe have them use a giant ass ball instead. Just like make the game the same, but just make it like a beach ball sized baseball, and just like make it way simpler. It's just like you're still hitting it with a bat. It's just way easier. I don't know. Spitball that, like, can you look that up? Can you look up when the tee was invented? I know that's such a silly thing, but please do. I don't think it was a pre-1950 thing.
Give me a second. I feel like Jamie from Rogan.
Who you are. You know everything technologically. You're very very capable.
You're real good, bro. You're real good. 1958.
What's up, son?
Yeah, we're going to start using that stat. Did you hear that, Rhino? 1958 was when the batting tee was invented.
Baseball exists for 100 freaking years, and then they
baseball's been going 100 years. They just invented the batting tee in 1958, so basically the 60s.
Hank Aaron was already in the big leagues, dude.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting. Like, hey, good question. This guy brings
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm so smart, guys.
You're bad.
Sorry.
You're bad.
Like, I think I'm tired of where kids are coming in at. Because I feel like I'm getting kids that just don't understand. Like, the other day, I had to ask a kid, where's the pitcher throwing the ball? They're like, over the plate. I'm like, right. Why? He's like, pause. He didn't know how to respond. He goes, to throw strikes? I was like, exactly. And do you swing at strikes? He goes, yeah. I was like, okay, so where should you be looking at? And he goes, over the plate. And I was like, exactly. And he just kind of stared at me like I just like totally just like spun him around 3 times and like poked him in the head and was just like, boom, you're fixed. But he just started raking after that. And it was just the idea of he kept pulling his head. But instead of telling him he kept pulling his head, I was just like, hey, dude, like, where is the ball going? And he had never actually thought about, like, oh, yeah, like, this guy's trying to throw strikes. Where's the strike zone? Again, kid was maybe like 2 or 3 years into Little League, maybe 4, so I think it was like 9, right? So he started playing like 5, maybe 6. So he'd already done T-ball. He'd already done that weird – we have a weird pitch machine now. It's like a leg lever thing. You, like, catapult this shit into the kid. You pull this blue catapult down, and then you stomp on it, and it shoots the ball out like a little arm does that. So it's not even like – I remember when I played pitch machine, it was the jugs machine. Like, we were actually facing velo. Now they're, like, catapulting this ball at a kid, right? Not even throwing it. And that's the first 2 years. So it goes T-ball and then catapult and then coach's pitch. So let's say you start at 5. You're really not playing with a ball moving at you until your 3rd year. I think that's way too late. Yeah. Because that's so many swings that they practiced, like, without a moving object that's, like, coming from an arm. I'm not saying that that's true, but, like, that's so weird. Like, imagine not throwing to a hitter till you're, like, 12. That wouldn't make sense.
Agreed.
That wouldn't make sense.
Agreed. Yeah. I mean, that's why they use a smaller ball down in Mexico to play, you know?
Do they really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they use like probably the lefty swag size ball, maybe even a little bit bigger, for the young kids, and they play ball down there, 4 or 5.
That's so smart.
Yeah, for sure.
So what's new with you? What's going on?
Dude, just getting this all summer stuff going. I got the team in here, full ready to go. We are, going live Friday. It's exciting. Going to get that part started. I think that's going to be fun. I think that this summer is going to be a great time with the summer team, with live ABs, with in-house training. It's going to be got some awesome things coming. Got another TrackMan unit coming, so we can be in two places at once with our data. Um, really going to try to stream live ABs really well. Probably going to have to buy a new camera soon so we can really get some high quality content on both sides. Um, yeah, pumped though. Really, we're really excited about the focus of what we're trying to do here. I think there's a lot of opportunities for us to execute, which is what we're always trying to do, whether it's, working with companies that need more exposure, helping athletes learn how to play the game that's effective. There's just a bunch of stuff that, there's a process that has to happen. You have to learn the hard way. You have to jump in the deep end and find out if you're good. And I just don't think there's enough baseball players doing that. I don't think there's a lot of people doing enough of like, well, how do I even know I'm good?
It's
I'm
doing
like,
teamwork.
yeah, too busy doing things that like are slow. You know what I mean? And I think that is a problem. I think that is a for sure issue of what people think is effective. And I was lied to too much, man. Honestly, really was lied way too much to
Yeah,
about how, yeah, for sure. You know what
not
I mean?
as fast as possible, but faster sooner.
Right, exactly.
Like, it's almost like not knowing how big of a fish is out there. It's like seeing a catfish and your dad being like, "That's the biggest fish ever caught by man."
Yeah.
You're like, what? And then you find out that there's like a whale shark, and you're like, "What the fuck, Dad?" Like, dude,
Yeah.
this thing is the size of a small building.
Yeah.
But it does feel a little backwards.
Totally. Totally. Yeah, I agree. So yeah, that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited about getting all of these systems, the TrackMan, the live streams, the hit tracks, all of the data together, which is going to be really fun because when our guys throw our bullpens or our live ABs or our game, we're going to have the TrackMan on, so we get to watch their progress too. So it's going to be fun to build some reports. Yeah, for sure. Especially with the hitters, we're going to do some testing. We're going to do some stuff that I always want people to feel like they're getting something out of it, and that the bare minimum in 10 weeks, we should be able to get people, the bare minimum of 1% better. I feel like that's easy. If I can get you 1 to 2 miles an hour at the minimum, right? Like then at least you've got something, either pitching or exit velo. But I think a lot of those things have to do with how comfortable you can play inside of the riskiest game.
I can't say enough like that. That was pretty good.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, buddy, we nailed it. Short and quick. Love it. We'll get some
Let me
stuff
say
on there.
one more thing.
Okay, go.
Let me say one more thing before
Go
you
ahead,
guys
do
go. I just did it. I just took a deep breath, and that was something that I wanted to talk about. So, there isn't enough talk about like calming players down. I feel like that's the other step, right? Anybody that's watching this that's a player at what point, you got to read. I think Heads Up Baseball is the easiest mental book because I think it's like 180 pages. The mental game of baseball, I think it's like 300 something pages. But for the most part, I think before the age of, again, like 16, I think baseball players need to mature a little bit in terms of how to accept failure at a bigger stage because you're going through these higher stages so fast. Like you go freshman, JV, varsity in 3 years. So if you're lucky, right? If you keep developing, right? But the book Heads Up Baseball, I've recommended it to a few clients, and I've seen a lot of great outcomes just in the short time that they've done it. Like just watching kids that just used to struggle with failure, even in a training environment, and no matter how much we would have the conversation, they couldn't let it go. And I read that book. They're not done with it, but they've both done the book. And you can see them like slow themselves down when they start to get erratic. They're just like, whoa. Like you can see them just like step out and just be like, chill, dude. So I think that's a huge recommendation for any kid that's watching this. Heads Up Baseball by Ken Ravizza. It's like 180 pages, and you'll love it. You can write in it. Like it's not like a book. It's a baseball player's mental book. So don't consider it like something you would read at school. This is made for you, designed for you to help you. I didn't make it, but I don't think you can make a better one. I really don't.
Love good recommendations from there too. Yeah, and also, you know, if you guys are you know, in the area and you want to train with us, you know, sign up.
Yeah.
You know, I know that I've sent plenty of people up that way, up to our guy. Alex has sent people down to us. You know, shoot, how's my lefty doing?
Dude, he got banged up again, man. But I think that was an overuse thing. I think it's just like, I think it's one of those things where like baseball players are very similar to a lot of other athletes in the sense of like we're all chasing a population of 500 and there's like a bajillion of us all trying to fit in these tiny spots. And so some people, when, you know, they cash in, sometimes maybe they are under-recovered because they cash in so hard. And I think that was a big part of it, is he was just under-recovered. I think that's what a lot of these kids are. I think they're just under-recovered. You guys don't sleep enough and you don't eat well. You look too much on Snapchat and you eat poop. I don't know what you eat, but it's not good.
You eat poop.
You eat poop. That's all I know. Because I got 2 boys, so I know what they were eating, and all of you guys were 10 and 12 like 4 or 5 years ago. And I know you loved grilled cheese and corn dogs. Well, guess what? Mike Trout does not eat grilled cheese and corn dogs. Maybe he does every once in a while, but probably not. That's all.
Yeah.
So many kids I talked to, like, what'd you eat today? He was like, I had a grilled cheese and a Pop-Tart. I'm like, bro, you got to eat. Dude, even if it's more food, just eat more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why I want to? I'm like, bro, if you want to hit bombs, you got to be big, dude. Go eat food. Sorry, I keep extending our podcast. I got so much to say right now because it's like there's been a lot of, I feel like, lack of the outdoor membership or mentorship, like these travel ball coaches and these high school coaches, I feel like are letting me down because I'm giving you some really polished kids and they're coming back dirty, not cleaner. I'm like, what's going on, dude? Like this, like, hold on. Like I gotta come back. I gotta clean this thing back up again. So I've been fired up lately.
Yeah, let's go. Say what you got to say.
Well, just to finalize it, like you guys eat like crap and you don't sleep well. You like, I need to find the clip that I saw that was like a Huberman style podcast, but sleep is pretty much like an HGH D-ball trend type level steroid. Like sleep is. And if you were to sleep as much as like, and I know it sounds crazy, but like 9 to 10 hours, you guys are young, dude. You ain't got nothing to do. You ain't got no job. You don't got kids, right? Your high school season just ended. Find a way to get like 9 to 10 hours of sleep after tough training days or before big training days. If you can, every day. But I think that needs to be a huge thing, is like 9 to 10 hours of sleep. Dude, Steph Curry got like 12 hours of sleep before a game, then he dropped like 50 points. Like I heard him talk about that in an interview on the Bay Area CSN, Comcast Sports or whatever. He was like, yeah, I slept like 12 hours and he dropped like 51 or something like that. It's like, good God. So like, bro, like if you told me I'm asleep 10 hours and I'll go 4 for 4 with 2 ding dongs and I'll throw 2 guys out at second, I'm going to bed at 7, dude. I'll wake up at 7.
Oh, you just reminded me, like, game day sleep that night. Like, one, there's always anxiety, right? But like, blackout curtains with just like no alarm, no disruptions.
Yeah.
I agree. I think kids are too overly stimulated, and then like because of you know, I'm sure mom and dad don't want them laying in bed all day, right? They might think it's
I get that.
bad. There were times I remember sleeping at 12. My dad was like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "I just need to sleep. I don't know."
Yeah.
You know, and then I'm growing. You know what I mean?
Dude, especially your big ass. I stopped growing early. You did not probably.
I grew in college too.
Yeah,
I came into college at
15, I think, because I was already like 5'8" at like 13. But I think I got
right.
to about 5'10", 5'10 and a half on a good day.
5'10" and a half on a good day.
Oh, I was listening to again another podcast. And there was some dad that was like, the early bird gets the worm, but the early bird is also 5'5". I love that. And
That's
again,
funny.
some of the like the best natural athletes are always like taking naps all the time. Like there's that great story of Steve McNair of like he was like sleeping in the weight room and the weight coach comes up to him and he goes, "Why are you sleeping? You need to work out." He goes, "I need to sleep too." And the weight coach goes, "Can you bench like 225 again?" I don't know if this is like an exaggerated story. This is really, if you look this on YouTube, like a real story. I don't know if it's true facts. Apparently he goes over to 225 and just bangs out like 10 reps and like racks it. And he goes, "Am I good?" The coach is like, "You're good." Because he was just sleeping, wakes up, bangs out 10 reps on 225, playing for like Alcorn State in Mississippi. Rest in peace, Steve McNair. But so I think you guys got to sleep and eat better. Like, I get asked all the time, like, what are some things that my kid can do to gain weight? In the state of California, they have very strange dietitian and nutritionist laws. So I am not a physician, nor am I a nutritionist or a dietitian. However, there are a lot of anecdotal.
I don't think that works that way. I don't think that works that way.
I said all due respect. I can say whatever I want. So
that's good.
I think that there's a lot of anecdotal evidence. Like I know that there's a couple kids. I can't think of their last name, but I know there was one kid named Joel that I met when I went to Driveline, and he was like a high school senior. And he found this thing called the vertical diet. And he was a young kid, like a young man that was very driven. And it helped him put on a lot of weight and help him get strong at the same time in the weight room and maintain his pitching gains. Because you guys don't realize that's a lot of calories. Like, you're probably burning, honestly, 2,200 calories a day because you're like a furnace. You're growing. Your engine just then you add maybe an hour and a half long weight room workout. Let's say it's just strength training. You're probably going to burn 350 calories, right? So now you're at 2,600. Then you add a hard, let's say a hard velo session where you're doing running guns and you're throwing 3 ounces. You're probably burning 400 again. So now you're at 3,000, right? Then you've just got miscellaneous stuff you might be doing, like even stretching out, going on a run, like just moving with your family. Like you don't realize, but that takes like calories. And then you have to replenish even more than that if you want to gain weight. So let's say you burn 3,000 calories with 1,000 in exercise, like 500 at baseball, 500 in the weight room, 2,000 because you're an 18-year-old kid. You have to eat probably 3,500. So you not only do you have to eat that 3,000, you probably got to add 500 calories. Because at some point, especially if you're a college guy, you're going to not eat. You're going to go in like a weird calorie deficit. So you guys have to prioritize then. The only way you grow after you eat all that, like 3,500 calories, you got to sleep. That's how you use it, right? So like just food and sleep, man. You guys like really got to understand how many calories you're burning. I don't like, do you have a Whoop or like a Fitbit or John, anything like that, John?
Apple Watch.
So I think we've done this conversation before. How many calories do you burn like when you throw like live ABs and you're throwing like 150 pitches?
When I did 185 pitches, I burned like 1,900 calories.
You fucking see what I'm talking about? Like
Yeah.
you burned like 2,000 calories.
Yeah.
Like that's probably, honest to God, realistic. And that's not even what he burned the rest of the day. That was just the activity.
Which is my favorite because then I get to go crush steak and etc. after that.
Right. And like honestly, you probably didn't put a dent in it. Like you could. 1,900 is a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, it was like an hour and 45 minutes of throwing.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. And also, the endurance to burn that many calories, you got to work out a lot and you got to throw a lot. So you got to keep burning a lot of calories all the time. So again, like, it's okay if you're a baseball player, especially a pitcher. You're probably going to be better off with a little chub chub. Like a little chub chub.
Little chub chub. Little
Like
velo
Lance
pop.
Lynn.
Little velo pop.
Lance Lynn, big boy. 95 all day, every day since he's like 21. Okay? Now, I'm not saying he's probably got the healthiest arteries, but he throws 96, 97 every day, and he's got some of the highest strikeout rate in the bigs. Sacrifice, gentlemen. All right? I'm just kidding. Don't sacrifice your arteries. But maybe do. That's your thing. I sacrificed my left tibia for 2 years so I could get that pro contract. So it's all whatever you're willing to, whatever you're willing to do. But, like, again, guys that are bigger, like, look at how many guys are, like, low-key fat that throw gas in the big leagues that don't get hurt. Like, because they got low weight on their bodies, so they don't need to use their arms as much. So, like, you guys need to understand it's okay to sleep and to eat. Doesn't mean you're lazy. It just means you're trying to throw gas. Wow, that's such a great answer. I'm not fat. I'm just trying to throw hard. That's like an Eric Sim-ism, a King of JUCO metaphor. Like, truly, you gotta. What's the dude down in Georgia that does the hitting? Like Chad Longworth? No, not Chad Longworth.
Oh, you're talking about out front hitting?
No,
Casey Smith?
Oh, there's another guy. Not Casey Smith. There's another one. Because I can't remember his name. But he used to say, he was like, you need to eat like bacon before every baseball hitting session. He goes, it's fat, it's protein, and it's got high calories. Like, that's just like what I think he said it was bacon equals bombs. Like bacon equals bombs.
That's funny.
Yeah. That's my 2 cents, man. Y'all gotta eat, y'all gotta sleep, y'all gotta figure out how much you have to eat. Like, so if you have an Apple Watch, I'm pretty sure John could tell you it does a lot of stuff for you. Like, it measures like a lot of stuff that you don't really need to do. Or get a Whoop strap. It'll tell you a lot about how much you actually need to sleep, how many calories you burn. Like, that's how you're professional, dude. You figure out what your sleep and your eat is, because a lot of you train hard, but you're missing the other 2 out of the 3. You got to sleep and you got to eat right. You do those other 3 or those other 2, oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
That's why those guys from the islands are so good. They're all eating iguanas and plantains. They're not eating processed food, guys.
They're eating iguanas and plantains. That's
that was
awesome.
like, where's my book? I have my Mariano book somewhere. That's like his favorite food, iguanas. Like, he said that in the book. He's like, I love iguanas.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's fascinating.
We
learned that he was less than 100 years old, and Mario Rivera loves iguanas.
That's awesome. All right, my friend. I think we killed it. That was iguanas and plantains. Let's do it. That should be a shirt.
Iguanas and bacon, bro.
Yeah.
Iguana bacon.
Iguana bacon. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, my friend. Please like and subscribe. Appreciate it. Everybody that supports us, thank you so much. This will be available as soon as it is. See ya.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day, John.
Later, bud.